The workforce is very diverse and they have very different aspirations. But I think they have the potential to see a common purpose.
The recent pandemic has really normalized remote working from home, and I think that's a big win for workers. Many employees this day expect some form of hybrid working from their employers, not just parents with children. I think even singles want hybrid working. And that is because it gives them a lot more control of time during the day, where they can transit more seamlessly between work and non-work activities. So I think what employers can do to make hybrid working work is to set some boundaries on in-office days and activities so that there's clear understanding.
I think today many companies have done a lot in terms of providing parental care leave, childcare leave. I think that level of providing support for workers who are parents or who have to care for their own aging parents is something that perhaps need to be further strengthened. Certainly Singapore is an aging population. Many of our elderly population will need more support from their children who are also employees.
If people run businesses, then you know that the answer between aspirations of employees and the profitability and competitiveness of a company boil down to the same solutions. We are also becoming more global. Our enterprises are going overseas and they have to learn how to manage different cultures. And that really adds a very thick layer of difficulty. I was just in Jakarta and I realized that I had to use a lot of energy to understand, to listen. And I think we have to be very intentional in being very open-minded.
What employers can do is to be more open-minded to assess whether they have some baseline level of working knowledge and the learning agility to make that transition and still potentially be able to do well in the role. So in this way, we can be more inclusive of candidates who maybe typically wouldn't be shortlisted for consideration.
Even as job functions retain some level of homogeneity, I think we realize that there are many among us who have different neurological needs and neurological makeups. I see this as a strength rather than a weakness. The more diverse society is, the different kinds of skill sets that each of us bring to the table. And firms need to see it as well, that every worker brings a different set of skills to the table.
When an employer wants to consider a person with special needs in its workforce, they must be prepared to make adjustments. And one of those adjustments is actually the job scope. Very often, some tailoring of the job scope to what the person with special needs can competently handle is needed. The upside for the company, and again, sometimes intangible, is that actually the co-workers also feel a greater sense of purpose and that they are making a positive impact towards a better society.
The company must respond to what employees are thinking about. If you don't, they leave you and then you lose your competitiveness.
I think in terms of ensuring that the economy is competitive while workers' needs are catered for, both the employer and the employee often will have to give in a little bit to each other. The employer will have to exercise a bit more flexibility to retain the best workers. But workers will also need to understand that the employers are facing bottom line pressures as well. But I think that if we are able to align the aspirations of our workers with the needs of our industries, we can have a chance of building an economy that is not just competitive, but inclusive as well.
And you must remember that the employee is not just an employee. They have many roles to play. You are a mother, a sister, a daughter, a brother, a son. And if you look at them as a whole person, you would appreciate the pressure that they go through in life. And because of that, there will be this gentleness in spirit towards them.